Marcus Carlson's here for that. Marcus, first, Germany throwing the spanner in the works to save plans for the euro. Tell us more.
Yeah, we're talking about Germany's highest court, to be specific. It has voiced doubts over a measure that was widely seen to stabilize the Eurozone debt crisis when it was at its peak. This issue dates back to 2012. That's when the European Central Bank said it was ready to help weaker Eurozone countries by buying their bonds. Germany's top court says it's not sure that's legal, and it's now passed the buck onto the European Court of Justice to decide. Delano de Souza takes a closer look.
It's been billed as the most decisive move by the European Central Bank during the debt crisis. It promised to buy the bonds of weaker countries in the Eurozone, and it helped to calm market fears over the currency union crumbling. The program was the centerpiece of a pledge made by the ECB president in 2012.
The ECB is ready to do whatever it takes to preserve the euro. And believe me, it will be enough. The important thing is that we want to do it within our mandate.
The Outright Monetary Transactions Program, or OMT, has in fact never been used. But according to Germany's top court, the program oversteps the ECB's mandate. It bans the central bank from providing member states with direct financial help. Since the central bank is a European body, the matter is being sent to the European Court of Justice in Luxembourg. It's seen as unlikely the European Court will go against the bank's efforts to save the currency. But the case puts into question who should come to the rescue should another European debt crisis arise.
And staying with Germany, its export machinery moved up yet another gear in 2013 as its trade surplus hit a record high. Exports out of Germany outpaced imports into the country by 199 billion euros. It's the highest figure on record, highlighting the health of the German export sector. It's also likely to fuel criticism, though, that Germany relies too heavily on exports at the expense of other countries. Unlike Germany, France is running a trade deficit, and during 2013, imports into France outpaced exports by 61 billion euros. It's the lowest figure since 2010, but it's still seen as a drag on the French economy. The French government has pledged to lower the deficit and boost the competitiveness of French firms. Now, there are concerns the American economy may be slowing after a strong finish to 2013. For a second consecutive month, American companies hired at a slower pace than expected. To be specific, the U.S. economy added 113,000 jobs during January. Economists say we're expecting a figure somewhere in the vicinity of 180,000 jobs, though. A look at the past 6 months tells the story. Hiring slowed down in December of 2013 and in January of this year, following strong figures throughout the autumn. Look at November there, for instance, when the U.S. economy added 274,000 jobs. There is one silver lining, though, and that is that the unemployment rate in the United States dropped slightly in January. It fell from 6.6% from 6.7% during the previous month. Let's take a look at how the markets are digesting all of those figures. American markets are actually trading higher over on Wall Street after first coming down a little bit after those jobless figures. As you can see this hour, though, the Nasdaq is at is up by 1.5%. The Dow Jones up almost 1%. This, as some economists say, that the weaker than expected figures when it comes to hiring may be a product of cold weather. So economists basically downplaying those figures a little bit. European stock markets, they closed in positive territory with the CAC 40 here in Paris adding almost 1%. And if we take a closer look at the stock markets here in Europe, basic resources and mining shares gained in European trading. It came as steelmaker ArcelorMittal said it expects higher profits in 2014. It's predicting higher demand for steel in both the United States and Europe. It follows declines in both of those markets last year. Overall, ArcelorMittal says global demand for steel will grow by 3.5%. Looking at some other news, Yahoo is moving its operations in mainland Europe to Ireland. The move has been criticised here in France as an attempt to minimise French taxes. This is Irish corporate taxes are less than half those in France. The internet company says it wants to streamline its organisation and that it will continue to pay taxes here in France. Internet giant Google is buying a stake in the Chinese electronic goods maker Lenovo for around $750 million. After the transaction, it's reported the American company would hold just under 6% of the capital in Lenovo. The deal is being finalized as the Chinese company is buying the mobile phone maker Motorola Mobility from Google. And the work to widen the Panama Canal has come to a halt. That's according to the Spanish-led consortium in charge of the project. It says the Panama Canal Authority owes it $1.6 billion. The project is meant to widen the link and allow bigger ships to pass from the Pacific to the Atlantic or vice versa. But the project has overshot its budget, and the Panama Canal Authority is rowing with the consortium behind the project over who should pay the bill. Okay, that is the business for now. I'm going to pass it back to Tom for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much indeed, Marcus Carlson. Well, it's time now for a check of the